Let's wait for a few more moments for others to join. Give me a second, please. Hello. Okay, guys, by the time other people are joining, let me ask you, please note that this the whole purpose of this webinar is to make you more knowledgeable. Thank you, Josephine. The whole purpose of this webinar is to share knowledge with you to help ease the home buying process for you guys. So this webinar will cover a lot of topics, right from mortgage to the buying process, what all it entails, what all it involves by the time you get the keys in your hand for your dream home, right? Right from starting to save on the rent to actually owning a home on your own, start building equity in your home. So this is quite a I have tried to make it as uh, knowledgeable, like as many topics, cover as many topics as possible. So it may at times feel overwhelming to you. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible so that you don't feel overwhelmed. But anytime you have any queries, please use the chat box. Please put in a query there. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Most of the queries I'll try and answer towards the end of the session. Last 15 to 30 minutes, I'll try and keep just for the discussion. But in between as well, if you have any queries, please put in there. My wife Aditi, my partner Aditi also is online. If I'm not able to answer, she'll try and answer. Otherwise, we will make a note of your queries and try and answer them towards the end. To begin with, Vani, yes, we will be sharing the recording of it as well. So to begin with, guys, I would like to ask you uh, uh, what kind of a home is it that you're looking for while other people are joining? The kind of a home that you guys are looking for, and don't hold back yourself. Uh, It may be a condo, it may be a town, it may be a detached estate home, anything. Exactly you actually would like to see yourself in, and in which area, city, neighborhood, location? Right? Just give me an idea. I want to understand what you guys are looking for, and I'll accordingly tailor my this whole the way I'm explaining the process as to suit your requirements, right? Please do mind do that this is whatever the hour, 1.5 hour you're taken out on this Thursday evening to spend with me is an investment you're doing in yourself. As I said, this is going to be a quite a knowledgeable session for you guys. I'll try and make you way more knowledgeable about this whole process of home buying by the end of it all. So detached, 2 to 3 bed, 1 to 2 bath in Brampton or GTA. Perfect. Brampton is the best market to buy right now. And I have my reasons to say that. Uh, it is the best time to be a buyer in the market, and Brampton is the best market to buy in there because the inventory there is at an all-time high. It's a record-breaking number of listings that we have there. So you can, of course, buy whatever you want. Bungalow, 2 to 3 bedroom, perfect. Detached, 4 bedrooms. Condo, Masood, condo market, everybody knows is pretty down in dumps right now. So yeah, once again, a very good market to buy wherever you want to, North York or Thornhill, anywhere. Condo market is the best one to buy. Recently, I got a condo for my client in downtown Toronto, 2 bedroom condo, just for $540,000. Just $540,000, and to give you a stark comparison, this building was 11 years old, so not too old. Yes, downtown Toronto, Josephine, 2-bedroom condo at Richmond Street. So just to give you a comparison, I booked a new one somewhere 2018, 2019. I got the occupancy, 1-bedroom condo at Yonge and Eglinton, 1-bedroom condo. I bought it for 538. And the 2-bedroom condo, I got my client 540 just in January. Yes. Right. So yeah, you guys looking for a bungalow, condo, detached, perfect. This is the best time to be buyers, guys. So this whole session today is to make you knowledgeable. By the end of this session, you should feel like, man, you've got it, right? And Vani, we will be going through the details. I will be covering a lot. This is mainly about the first-time buyers. So as I said, this is quite an extensive session altogether. So if there's anything you feel I missed to capture, if I have any of the queries I have not been able to answer, you can put that in the chat box and I'll answer it specifically, right? So I have named this whole session as avoid these costly mistakes as a first-time buyer when you're buying the home, which you can also say as that how not to screw this process, right? That's what basically it is, right? How to save money when you're buying this. So you guys can, if you can keep your videos on, great. I would love to see your faces. Anybody saying anything? Sorry. Just the only thing I would request you is you can keep your cameras on. I would love to see your faces, but just keep it on mute so that no background noises are audible during the session. I'm Gagan, and as I said, I also have my wife, my partner Aditi, on the session here.
Hey guys.
We'll be introducing ourselves later. You can keep your cameras on, off, but keep the audio muted. Vani, you probably will get the answer by the time we're through with this session, right? So moving forward, just a second. There are 2 more people waiting to be joined. Yeah, let me admit them. Okay, that's done. So let me ask you, how are you guys feeling? Concerned, stressed, intimidated, anxious, uncertain? I can tell you how I felt when I was buying my first home. It was in 2016. I was buying my first home. It took me almost 8 to 9 months. I was very confused, very overwhelmed with the whole process because market at that point of time, if any of you remember, was crazy hot. Uh, in fact, I bought my first home in a bully offer. So I was pretty anxious, intimidated, overwhelmed. So how are you guys feeling right now? What's your state of mind? Anybody would like to share? You can drop it in the chat box. Overwhelmed? Jasmine, I agree with you. Anybody else? Concern? You have to be. But as I said, this is the best time to be buyer. Let's go through this process. Scared? Don't be scared, Wani. That's the last piece for you to feel like. And I genuinely hope by the time we're done with the session, don't live in fear. Absolutely, Pat. Don't live in fear. Scared is something which I wouldn't want you guys to be feeling. Concerned, stressed, of course, everybody's situation, you may be overwhelmed, of course. It is the biggest investment of your life. That's pretty understandable that you could feel overwhelmed, but don't be scared. And I hope by the end of the session you are feeling better, you are feeling more in control. So moving forward, guys, so our goal tonight is, as I've been saying, I want you guys to feel in control and ease about this. By the end of the session, I would love, even if some of you feel like, you man, we got this, right? So let's quickly move forward. We have lots to cover. And yeah, of course, if you stay until the end, you will get thousands of dollars in goodies for you guys. Right. So let me introduce myself and Aditi to you. We are a husband-wife team of realtors. We are CA CPA by qualification. That's me and my wife, darling wife Aditi, there for you. Like by qualification we are CA CPA, but we are now full-time real estate. In real estate we do mortgage, we do work as a realtor, everything. Like, and I work across GTA from um, Toronto, Mississauga, Pickering to Oshawa to Kitchener, London. Yeah, I've done deals in London as well, to Niagara, like all over. Wherever my clients take me, I work. But the best part about it is experience comes with experience. So I've worked in all these areas, different areas all over. So I know what it is like, right? Uh, I know the tips, tricks, strategies, which only comes with experience, right? I'll keep sharing my experiences with you, some of the examples throughout the process. So I just simply love my clients. That's the reason, as I said, though being a CSCPA, I am full time into real estate just because of that kick I get looking at the faces of my client when they get their move in their home, move in the place they can call home. That's the key reason that I moved full time into real estate, rather than just sitting somewhere behind the doors and crunching numbers. I still crunch numbers, but now I crunch numbers in my head for my clients to get them good deals or help them build equity. Right? So moving forward, so first time mistakes. Based on my experience, as I said, I had this experience. Based on my experience, I can tell you 90% of the first time buyers end up in the wrong house or in a wrong deal. I'll explain you through the process. Why is that so? Something which we don't remember. I keep telling my clients, this is the same example I share with my clients, whoever I'm working with, that when you're buying a home, this is one of the biggest investments of your life. So be very careful when I meet a client. First thing that I ask them is I want to listen to them because I want to understand their requirement, what it means for them for a place to be called a home. That's what I asked you guys. Right? You were telling me condo, bungalow, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom. But when you're talking to me, I probe you further, right? To just get the exact requirements that you're looking for so that you can get the home that you need, or the home which meets your requirements. I don't want you guys to end up in a wrong home. So I put it this way when I tell my clients, like, you are buying a home, you're not buying a shirt or something from Costco, which if you don't like, you can go back and return it in 90 days, 3 months, 6 months, up to a year, right? Costco accepts it back. But once you have got the home, you've got the home. You're stuck with it. So that is the part you guys need to be careful about. Hopefully by the end of the session, you'll get a better understanding of it. Do you guys like the idea of leaving thousands of dollars on the table? Anyone? I have never come across anybody who says they want to leave money. Yeah, no way. I have never come across anybody who says that they want to leave money on the table. But during the process of home buying, that is the part you need to understand. Like recently, just last Thursday, I got my clients one of the detached in Mississauga. It was an estate sale. So this client, when I started working with them, they asked me like, man, do you do the cashback? I said, no, I just give my services. I don't do cashback, but I can assure you by the end of it, by the time you get the home, you'll realize that you were better off not getting a cashback from me, because what you get is way more than the cashback I can give you. And that's the same thing that happened. I got them a home, a detached in Mississauga, just for 875,000. That too on the street where the last sale couple of weeks back of a similar home was for 1,050,000. So had I bought them a home at 1,050,000 and given them some cash back, 0.5% or even 1% up to 1%, it could have just, they could have gained just $10,000. But buying a home at 875, comparable similar home with at a gap of just 2 weeks, they ended up saving $175,000. And now they completely trust me. Today morning, they were talking to me how to deal with their landlord. They were having some issue with it. So, like, they were like, I reminded them, you asked me for a cashback. They said, we're glad we didn't ask, you didn't agree to us. Right. So, that is the point you need to remember, guys. There are a lot of things during this whole process of home buying where you can end up leaving dollars on the table. So just listen carefully to this whole webinar so that you learn which are the areas where you can save money, right? Just be careful about it. So mistake number one, you guys are all very smart. I have no doubt about it, especially in today's market and day when everything is available on our phone. That little device is backed up by an AI. You have all the sites, Zolo, House Sigma, Zillow, all of them. You can just look at them. You get an idea how much a home is worth, what home has, area, location, neighborhood. You know everything inside out, right? But what happens is most of the times many people, most of the first time buyers, and this is most of the first time buyers, they end up doing things in a wrong order. Let me explain to you what I mean. So during the COVID, most of you also must have gone through the same phase that I have been through. During the COVID, everybody was sitting at home. People have a lot of spare time at hand. People were like, we used to get, at least in my group, I used to get a lot of freshly cooked stuff, cakes and desserts or food items. There were like friend groups are sharing, my friends are doing that. And it all seemed like, okay, if my friends can do it, even I can do it because I cannot cook to save my life. The only thing I can make is a cup of tea, like Indian style cup of tea, you cook it and all that. But that's the only thing I can do. I generally cannot prepare any meal to save my life if I have to. I don't know this life skill. But everybody was sharing these cakes, pictures of cakes, desserts, and food items. So I thought, okay, why not give it a try? I looked at few videos and it seemed pretty simple. So I went to a Costco, bought a this cake kit, right? With the which had all the instructions written to it, ingredients, all of that. Okay, put this ingredient, like there were different sachets within that pack. So put this ingredient, cook for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, stir it, then another one, like that. Take 3 pieces of bread to make the layers in the cake, all of that, right? But it had a particular order. And I said, like, what difference does it make? I'm just think of me like I was doing it for the first time, right? So I put it all together, all the ingredients together for whatever time they said. I ended up making a cake. And this is what it looked like. So you guys tell me, does it look like a cake? Technically, it is a cake. I made it. I'm very proud of it. But does it look like a cake? You can share your feedback, views on this cake in the chat box. Feel free. You will not hurt my. Thanks, Josephine. I appreciate it. You will not hurt my feelings. I'm very proud of it. This is the first thing I have ever made apart from a cup of tea, right? But to tell you honestly, at least I tried, yes. But to tell you honestly, it didn't taste like a cake. It actually felt like something like I have put mud in my mouth, right? My wife, my kids, they just tasted it, bit of it, and then ultimately we had to throw it out. Only that much I could eat. So whatever was left, we had to throw it, right? So this is what happens when you're going out buying a home. You know you need your mortgage, you need to do viewings, do this, do that, but you probably don't do it in the right order, right? That's very important. Let's discuss what the right order could be, right? You simply like this is the recipe for buying the wrong house. Just the way I made a cake, so-called cake, this is the recipe to buying a wrong house. You guys look at Zillow, House Sigma, Zolo, and you disqualify yourself on your own, right? You're particularly keen on one particular location or neighborhood, and you see at these sites, oh yeah, man, house is selling at million plus. My budget was only 800, 900, or million, and now it's going for 1.1. Okay, I cannot buy in this area at this location. Let's move to some places. There is a lot that goes into the pricing of a house which you are not aware of, right? As I said, I got my clients this home just last Thursday. It is still conditional, got their mortgage done today, so we'll be firming the deal tomorrow. So it is not yet firm, but got them the home at 875 on the same street, just 3-4 houses down the street, where the similar home was sold for million 50 2 weeks back. So if I had, and because these client of mine couldn't go beyond 950, if we had looked at that million 50, we wouldn't have even tried at this home, right? Which we bought at 875, this detached bungalow. But we did. So don't disqualify yourself just based on what you see happening in the market. Talk to someone, ask them why this home sold for this and this price, or can we get a home at a cheaper price than this one fitting in my budget in the same neighborhood or location, right? You guys go to end up going to few for sale sign or the builder models of the new development open houses you go to, and finally you get tired. Either you just talk to the guy who's doing an open house, or you go to the builder's location and talk to the salesman there and end up buying whatever they are offering, thinking that you have attended lot many open houses, visited so many show houses in the new development, you know it all, right? And then you're stuck with it. So don't do that. That's one key message I have for you guys. Don't disqualify yourself. Don't get frustrated and ending up buying something in frustration. Or like, I've seen enough, now I don't want to see anymore. You buy the first home after that state of mind, right? Don't do that. Stick to your budget. This is the first thing you guys need to figure out, need to understand what's your budget before deciding on the location, before deciding on city, neighborhood. What's your budget? And something very interesting to tell you, this is something which has happened with me as well. Uh, it's all about your monthly payment. Sometimes the house which is more expensive costs you less than the house which is less expensive. The less expensive house costs you more than the expensive house. To give you an example, the first home that I bought, when I started looking for a home, my budget was 400 to 500,000. But during the process, I realized, man, it doesn't make sense. I'll not be able, as I told you, that time market was as hot as it gets. So I realized I will not be able to get anything in 400 to 500,000, because I was earlier looking at the condo townhouses. Then I thought, no, man, because as I said, I'm a CCP, I'm from the finance side. So condo fees, the numbers were not adding in my head. I was not able to convince myself that I need to buy a condo to live in and pay a condo fee month on month. So ended up buying a home for 751,000 with the budget, that in the original budget of 400 to 500,000 against that, right? So, but that house had a rentable basement, a walkout basement. And I ultimately ended up paying a mortgage which was less than that I would have paid had I bought a home for $500,000. I'll show you an illustration. So if you buy a condo for $550,000 here, my monthly mortgage, these numbers will even go lower now because of the last rate cut. But these are at apples to apples mortgage rate. So let's talk about it. The monthly mortgage would be $2,165. My condo fee is $600. Utility roughly $100. That's how much you get in condo. And then most of the condos, your rest other than hydro, rest all is covered in the condo fees. These are the two examples, live examples that I have taken for a freehold property and a condo, uh, both in the same neighborhood. So property tax comes to 2,400. So gross monthly payment is $3,065, right? Whereas a freehold for $800,000 in the same neighborhood with a monthly mortgage of 3,148, zero condo fee, utilities of around 350, property tax of around 350. This 2,400, guys, is 200 a month. This is annual, so please excuse me for that, my error. But it gets me a rental income. And this is a very conservative number I have taken because in the neighborhood, you get more than $1,500 as a rent, but because the rental market is struggling a little, so I have taken a conservative number, $1,400, and my gross monthly payment is $2,448. So even if you reduce the rent a little further, still you will be paying less than for a $550,000 home. You see, like the price difference is 250,000. You're paying 250,000 more for a freehold home, but you're paying less. And Vani, as to your question earlier, the mortgage point of view, even the banks consider that. If you have a rentable basement, banks allow you more mortgage, more dollar value to buy a home than what you actually qualify for. Because even they realize that a rentable basement also gets you income, right? Though you have not yet received it, you yet have to buy the house. You will get that rental income only after you buy the house, but banks do consider that and give you a benefit of that, right? Second thing you don't get is not getting a pre-approval. So what would you do like once you have how would you decide the budget? There are a few things which go in, how much deposit you will be paying. Like when you asked, you had like you were thinking of doing a deposit down payment of 10%. Then how much pre-approval you get from the bank or any lender, right? So that gives you a number that this is the budget now. You can buy a house up to say 600, 700,000, whatever the number you got, right? And then you decide, okay, in the area neighborhood that I'm looking into, that I'm interested in, would I get something first in that budget? If yes, then what kind of home I will get? Or if you're more in a favor of buying a particular kind of a home, then you see that kind of a home where you can get in that budget that you have, right? So these are the steps, one step at a time, putting a horse in front of a cart, then the other way around, right? So now I'm covering a lot of the stuff which relates to mortgage. It will give you an understanding of the mortgage piece of things, how the lenders look at your file, how do they assess you, and everything. So now let me ask you this question, guys. Who can tell me three main criterias lenders use to qualify you for a mortgage? Please put it in the chat box. I'm looking to your responses. Come quickly. Any idea? Any guesses you want to make? And guys, whatever you're putting in the chat box, don't at all feel scared or what do you say? How to put it? Don't hesitate at all, please. No question is a stupid question. This whole 1.5 hour is to learn, right? So unless you're asking questions or putting comments there, I'll not get to know if you're getting my point, right? Credit score, perfect. That's one thing. Of course, income, yeah, Masood. Of course, salary, yeah, right. Household income, credit score. You beat it. Yeah, you nailed it, Vani. That's exactly the three things which lenders look into. You simply nailed it. Kudos to you. Let's go through it one by one, right? So down payment is basically the money that you have to put out of your pocket, or the part of that goes out of your pocket to buy a home. How much of the down payment do we need? What is the minimum that we need to pay, right? So up to 500,000, you need to pay 5%. That is $25,000 if you're buying a home of up to $500,000. From $500,000 to 1.5 million, you pay 10%. And anything above 1.5 million is 20% flat. If you buy a house of 1.6 million, then you're paying 20% flat, 320,000 down. It doesn't works in the stacked manner. But if you're buying a house up to 1.5 million, then you're paying in a stacked amount. Here's an example. Like if you buy a home for 600,000, so 5% up to 500,000, that is just $25,000, and 10% of the balance between 500,000 to 600,000, that is 100,000, so 10,000 on that. So total you need to pay for a house worth 600,000 is 35,000. That is the minimum you need to pay. You can pay more than that. That's your choice, because if you pay less than 20%, you have to pay a CMHC, pay for the CMHC insurance, which is roughly around 4% of the purchase price. But this is the minimum you guys need to pay, right? Don't worry about the CMHC. Don't confuse yourself. And as I said, the moment you go beyond 1.5%, say 1.6%, then it's flat 20% of 1.6 million. That is $320,000. Moving forward, now coming to the income. Like Vani, to answer your question, which you asked at the start, the rule of the thumb is the lender will look at your gross income before tax for the year, right? So say if you're making $100,000 before tax a year, then 4.5 to 5 times of that is straight basic you will get, provided you don't have any other statutory obligations, say some auto loan, education loan, or any other kind of a loan, lease that you pay, right? So 100,000 income makes you eligible for up to 500,000 home, right? And for the purpose of income, many people don't know, like people just look at their salary. Like I think somewhere here had responded, Masood, income was very general thing. Shannon, you said salary. So it's basically what all it includes. Salary could be your full-time, part-time job, anything, self-employed income, uh, income from gig work. Like if you're doing some part-time Uber or Uber Eats job, right? That also gets considered. Cash income, if like say, for example, you're working in a free market, you're making money in cash, as long as you're declaring it, you can get that as consider that as an income. Lender will consider that as an income. Tips, gratuities, if you are say working at a Tim Hortons. So whatever tips and gratuities you are getting, and as well as your child tax benefit. If you have a child under 16 years of age, you get the child tax benefit. That also is included in your income, right? Spousal support as well. Moving forward, now coming to the credit score. So for credit score, anything above 660, you easily get a mortgage. I tell my clients rather than 660, 680, it becomes easier if you have a credit score 680 plus. But if you have a credit score less than 680, doesn't mean that you cannot get a mortgage, right? Then it's just a matter of moving to another lender. So for example, and not even another lender, the same lender can do that. So we have the categories of lenders, A lender, B lender, right? So for example, A lenders, we usually say the banks, RBC, TD, CIBC, National, Scotia, all of them, right? But these A lenders, these banks also do the B lending. B lenders are little relaxed. They are called B lenders. They're little relaxed on the documentation. They can go little relaxed on your credit score as well if you have a lower credit score. But then they charge you additional rent. Sorry, additional rate of interest. Like as of now, I got one of my this client just today mortgage at 4.29% variable. For same case, a B lender would charge you around 5.1% fixed, right? So that's the only difference. Mainly like rule of thumb, the difference between an A lender and B lender is at the most 1%. In today's time, it's even less than 1%, but rule of thumb, as I said, up to 1%. So you guys need to work on your credit score. Keep your credit score as better, as good as possible. That helps you in the uh, getting a mortgage, right? And one of the things which people end up doing is, if you're looking to buy a home, don't buy a new car, don't get any other loan or statutory more obligation while you're trying to buy a home, because that also reduces your eligibility for the mortgage, right? And mistake number two, don't take advantage of first time buyer programs. Many of the people are not even aware like what the first time buyer programs are, right? So as I told you about the small portion of purchase price, as I told you about how minimum you can pay to buy a home, right? That's what basically it is. Tax-free loans from savings. You can get up to $120,000 from your savings to buy a home, right? You get a land transfer tax refund when you buy a new home, as well as there are partnerships, programs towards a down payment or to buy a home if you're either not eligible, your credit score is not good, you're not getting a mortgage, or you don't have a down payment, or your status, you're not yet a permanent resident. You still can buy it. There are ways out, which I'll be discussing in further slides. So down payment, I have already explained it to you, so I'll move forward in the interest of time. And guys, if I'm going too fast, please let me know, right? Because I'm just moving little quickly because I have a lot to cover. So if you anywhere you feel I'm moving little too fast or you didn't get my point, please stop me, right? So 10% down, Vani, it all depends what you are looking to buy, right? That I'll explain it to you later. So tax-free loans from saving, you can get a loan. There is a first time home buyers account which government has introduced. You can deposit up to $8,000 every year and only up to $40,000 you can save there. Whenever you withdraw the money from there, it's tax free, that you can use that money as a deposit for a home that you're planning to buy. If you have an RRSP account, you can withdraw. Of course, you should have balance. It could be either up to $60,000 maximum, or if the balance is less, whatever the balance you have. So, and this one is you can buy 60,000 per head. Like say, Vani, you're planning to buy a home with your husband, right? And both of you have RSP accounts, both of you have there a balance of at least $60,000. You can withdraw, each of you can withdraw $60,000 from your RSP and use that $120,000 as a down payment for your home, right? And another thing is tax-free saving accounts. So whatever the balance you have in the tax-free saving account, you can withdraw all of that as a deposit or down payment for the home. There's another thing that you can use for down payment. If you have your line of credits, you can use those line of credits for the down payment as well, right? That's the borrowed money, but you can use that as well. Many of the people are not aware. So this is the reason I always tell clients, people are not aware about this RRSP part, that they can withdraw money from RRSP. People are not aware that they can have the borrowed money as well to buy a home. So it's the reason I always tell my clients, you probably have more money than you think you have. So always talk to somebody who knows about it, not to AI, not to computer. And many of the times the friends and families that we talk to them, discuss with them, and most of them probably don't even have that kind of a knowledge. What happens is I've seen many cases where people talk to the friends for the home buying process, and these friends themselves have not bought a home yet, but they give a very good judgment. They all have some opinion because they are on social media, they keep watching, observing social media, right? Moving forward, the participation programs, right? There are two participation programs. One is rent to own, lease to own. People call it by different names. And another one is you get a partner who pays the down payment, right? So where you go for rent to own is if you don't have you have credit issues, you don't qualify for loan, right? Josephine, yeah, if you don't want to, I'll explain the rent to own. I have few slides on it. I have few slides on the participation program as well, partnership program as well. So rent to own is this program usually lasts for 2 to 4 years. You don't have a good credit, you don't have a down payment, or uh, your status is not valid to buy a home. You are you're not on PR yet. You're not a citizen or PR. Basic PR is minimum required. Because if you're not a PR or a citizen, then there is a foreign buyer tax 25% that you have to pay, and that tax is currently it's in effect till the end of next year, 2026, right? So then you can go for a rent to own. You don't have to wait till the time your credit is up to the mark, or you have the down payment, or you get that PR. You can get into the market right away. You can buy a home right away. How does it work? Let's see a comparison here in the next slide that I have. So this comparison I have prepared at a number at a home close to $575,000. So if you keep renting, the whole point here is if you look at the numbers, you will realize uh, initially you may pay little more, little extra on the rent to own program. But in the long run, during the duration of that program, which I said is 2 to 4 years, I have taken example of 3 year term, you will notice that you save money in it. So it's always better to buy now when the market is so good for the buyers. So currently, if you're paying a rent of $3,400, $500 for a similar home, up to which costs up to $575,000, you may be paying 3,975 on rent to own. I'm calling it RTO. Please remember that. So that abbreviation is for rent to own. Purchase price in 3 years, just this is assumptive basis based on the way market keeps fluctuating. So it's very reasonable number. The price will be 755 for that same home, whereas it will cost you 655,000 at end of the term of 3 years when you will transfer the ownership in your name. Like it's rent to own. From renting, by the time you own it, the value of the house will be $655,000, which is $100,000 less after 3 years. Mortgage required in 3 years, and this is the minimum payment that you're doing. $705,000 of a mortgage, making the minimum payment, which would be close to like $25,000 and 25 close to $50,000, right? Remember how I did the working, the calculation? 5% up to $500,000, that's $25,000, and remaining 255 would require 10%. So that is $25,000, $25,500 together, $50,500 thereabout, right? So the even mortgage required is 95,000 less in RTO when you actually start owning this home which you are renting currently, right? And less mortgage means you're carrying lesser debt. After the first 5 year term, you'll be owning a debt of $627,000 if you buy the same home 3 years down the line, versus $541,000 if you get into rent to own today. That's how much of a difference. Look at the numbers, right? So it does make sense, but again, it is not for everyone. Please discuss it, explore the option, discuss it with somebody who can guide you if it makes sense for you or not, right? Moving on. There's a company called Arboro, which gets into a co-ownership. Like if you're short on down payment, or you don't want to pay that CMHC insurance, which I told you, it is 4%, but it turns out to be a significant number. I recently, which company? This Arboro, the shared partnership, Josephine? It's written here. This is a company. Ourboro. Here it is. Arboro, right? So like recently I got one of my clients a home. He bought a beautiful detached home in Cambridge. He did not want to pay the CMHC because the house we bought it was for some 800,000, 850,000 or thereabout. So the CMHC insurance on that was close to $35,000. He did not want to pay the $35,000. So I got him shared equity financing from Arboro. So you have to pay minimum 5% and remaining is paid by Arboro, but he paid 10%, Arboro paid 10%. Equal amount they both paid. And the good part about is Arboro does not have any limitation on the for it doesn't forces you to sell home in 5 years, 3 years, 10 years that you have to take the money out and pay them back. You can do it anytime. The maximum allowed time is 30 years for you to pay back our borrow. You're not paying any interest to them, nothing, but they become a partner in your home. They share the equity of your home. Let me explain you how. Say if you're buying a home for $1 million, down payment is you're paying 20%, because if you're going to our borrow, you're paying 20% down, period. Right? Out of the 20%, you're only paying 80,000 out of that 200,000, that is 8%. And our borrow is paying 12%, $120,000. So you'll become the share that you will own in the equity of the house, or whatever the value increases over the period of time, will be in the same ratio, 12 is to 8, which is like you own 40% of the equity and our borrow owns 60% of the equity. That's the way it will be split. Whenever you buy out our borrow or you sell the home and share the equity, you can do it either ways. So these are two very innovative ways to get into the real estate market, save on your rent and buy a home of your own, right? Either you can go through rent to own, lease to own, it is also called, or this shared equity financing, right? Moving forward, what is the mistake number 3? Guys, I hope so far you are with me. It's not getting too heavy for you guys, or if you want me to go back and explain on anything, please let me know, right? As I said, I'm rushing a little bit just so that I can cover everything, because we are right now we have covered only 2 mistakes so far. There are 3 more to go, and then I want to keep some time later on for discussion purpose as well, and I don't want to eat up all of your evening, right? This is something I mentioned earlier as well. Thanks, Josephine. This is something I mentioned earlier as well. It happens with us that we get sucked in by the realtor's marketing machine. Because when we go to either to the open house or to the especially this happens with the when you're visiting the show houses of the builders, right? And when you go to their sales offices, especially the builders, they have amazing sales offices, guys, with all the facilities that you can think of. Even if it's the land is all dug up around their actual sales office, like it's a rain, you're walking there. I've been there, done that, so I'm just trying to explain you the real scene, right? Your shoes are all muddy because it's It's all dug up, it's right in the middle. But the moment you walk into that temporary structure, the show house that they have built, you are completely, the moment you step in that house, show house, you are like transported to a different world altogether, right? It looks like you want to buy that home right then and there. They have hot coffee to serve you in that rainy day, and with all the goodies, cookies and everything. They have games to keep your kids occupied so that you can see the home, and the accessories in that home are next level. It's a beautifully done up home. So that is basically a marketing machine. And then the people who are attending you there, they're next level. So to explain it further, like you go to an open house, you come across this handsome dude who can like talks very sweetly to you, listens to you, answers your queries, drives a very fancy car, can easily run for office someday. But if you notice, to most of your queries, he will say, yeah, it's fine. It will be done. It can be, oh, it's fine. All fine. It's all fine. He's not actually answering your questions or alleviating your fears or concerns. He's basically more interested in selling you that home, for which he's doing an open house, right? Because his first obligation is towards the seller who is his client. Similarly, that sales office of a builder that I'm telling you was, you mostly come across there like you have these very friendly, pretty sales ladies. They talk so sweetly, like make you feel completely comfortable. As I said, they'll put your kids to the play area, offer you coffee, tea, whatever you like. There's complete range of variety of options there, even if you're a tea lover or a coffee lover, with cookies, some snacks, then just make you feel at home. And their focus is to make you sign that 50-page contract. And most of the time, it so happens people end up signing that contract. And one thing which they never tell you is, most of the time, they never tell you is that whatever the contract that you're signing at that point of time, always has a cooling period of 10 days. And it's only 10 days. So if you don't want that house, you want to get out of the contract, you can. But because it's 10 days, you have to act quickly. Because once you're out of there, within a day or two, you may feel, man, I got stuck. I don't know, want to buy that, or I want to explore the market. I want to see what's other alternatives or options are available in the market, right? So you do have that 10-day cooling off period in which you can get out of it. Even if you have paid the money, the down payment, the check of 5,000, 10,000 that you have paid, you will get it back without any deduction, right? But even here, if you walk into this show house, you end up signing the contract. And let me ask you, like, this is the thing with me. Uh, my wife knows I don't like spending my money on shopping. It's different if it's real estate. So even when I have to buy something, I prefer to go around. I study it on internet. What are the price ranges available? Then I have Flip. If you guys are aware, there's an app by Flip which you can download on phone. Put in the item that you're looking for. It gives you the best prices available at different stores and locations. And then I do visit the stores as well. I want to see, like, say, if I want to buy a laptop, I'll go to Costco, I'll go to Best Buy, I'll study it on the net. And whoever is offering me a best deal or a best price, I'd go and buy from there. So much so, I have no shame accepting that. I even look at the prices in US. If it's cheaper in US, I'll go and buy it from US. Right. So I'm a bargain hunter. How many of you are bargain hunter? This question comes specifically for this show house of a builder. Because in resale, of course, as I said, in today's market, you can do a lot of negotiation on the price. But the thing you guys don't know is I have been bargaining, negotiating with the builders as well on their new homes. Brand new homes, you can negotiate the price, you can negotiate the deposit period, right? You want an extended deposit, whatever suits you, you can negotiate with them. And most of the time, especially in today's time, builders are open to extend the deposit period as per your need, your wish. Literally, that's happening. But what happens is most of the people are not aware. So even if today you're buying a new build, you'll buy whatever the standard document builder provides you with, right? Without knowing that you can negotiate on it. They're negotiating on the prices, they're negotiating on the period, everything, right? So be careful what you're buying, guys. Especially just think of a situation, the closing of there is a row of townhouses almost built, ready to be delivered, closed, are all available for occupancy. Closing is due in 30 to 60 days. And suddenly, the guy who had bought there lost a job, or has seen that he can get a same thing cheaper somewhere else. He's not interested in buying any longer. So builder is stuck. Builder in such a case will never be willing to pay interest on the money that they have borrowed from their lenders to build that townhome from his own pocket. So this is the time where you can go in and negotiate. This is the time where I go in and negotiate with them. Okay, I have a buyer who's willing to buy this one, but is willing to pay only this much. Now you tell me if you can accommodate us. And if our demand is reasonable, builders are accommodating us in today's time. So keep that in mind, guys. Even if you're going for a new build, don't simply go with that, okay, this is a builder's price, this is standard. No, in today's market, that is not the case at all, right? So if you have still, even after the session, if you have any queries, you want to connect with me one-on-one, you're not comfortable asking the questions on the chat, this is the link, guys. I'll be pasting, I or Aditi will be pasting this link in the chat box as well. Just go to the link, book a time. We'll do a Zoom call, or you're more than welcome to visit my office. And you can connect with me, have a discussion with me on one-to-one basis. If this is the link Aditi just posted, you can use it and book a time. No worries at all. Okay. Now coming to the mistake number 4. First-time buyers get intimidated by the numbers. And when I say numbers, okay, look at these terms. Many of the terms I already have used during this discussion so far. It's your closing cost, legal fees, title insurance, lender fees. In some cases, you have to pay lender fees as well. Lender fees. So these land transfer tax, many of these terms keep floating around, which you may or may not be aware of. You may have to go to Google or your friendly AI device to guide you on it. So don't be intimidated. Let's discuss the numbers out, right? No more confusion. What is the closing cost, or what all constitutes a closing cost? Because what happens is, this is one part most of the buyers don't factor in. Like we talked about the deposit money, right? The deposit we need to pay. But deposit is, say, like we have the 20% down. Okay, fine. We think we are good for it to buy a home, right? We have 20%. That's not all. Then in that case, you will be surprised at a later date to know before the closing, you need roughly 1.6 to 2.5% more to close the house. Depending on, I give you a range. The reason I give you a range from 1.6 to 2.5 is dependent on the location that you're buying a house in. So if you're buying a house in Toronto, specific Toronto, you end up paying double the land transfer cost than if you buy a house outside of Toronto. You buy a house in Vaughan, you buy a house in Pickering to the east to Oshawa, Ajax, Whitby, Mississauga, Milton, Oakville. You pay half the land transfer tax. This is the tax which goes to the government, to the city, right? Then comes your legal fees and title insurance. Once you have bought the home, you need to hire a lawyer. Then it's not a realtor's job to do the paperwork. You need a lawyer who pays the land transfer tax on your behalf, who does all the paperwork, who validates, does the title checks and everything on the property that you have bought, just to make sure that the title you are getting is free of all the liens, any encumbrances. There's no fault in the title. So that's the lawyer's job. So you need to hire a lawyer. So there's a legal fee for it. And then you also pay for a title insurance. Title insurance is basically an insurance. It's a small amount, $1,000 to $2,000, depending on the size of the property that you're buying. Could go a little higher as well. Amount of the property that the price of the property that you're buying. But this gives you a peace of mind that tomorrow at a later date, if there's any defect in the property, some basic defect in the property or in the title, which has inherited from the previous owner, you can claim it against the title insurance. Similarly, if there are any prepaid taxes, insurances, or any, say, condo costs which the existing owner or seller has not yet paid. So your lawyer prepares a statement of adjustment and consider those costs as well, which you need to pay at the time of the closing. So that's why I said 1.6 to 2.5% basically for the land transfer tax and these prepaid or postpaid expenses, if right. I hope now you have a better idea about it. The closing costs, it will not confuse you. These numbers will not confuse you anymore. And as I mentioned, lender fee, which I have not mentioned here, because lender fee comes into picture. Your A lenders don't charge you any lender's fee. It's only the B lenders or C lenders, private, that if you have to go to, they charge you lending fees, right? That is starting from 1%. So let's now look at the cost and this 20%, 22% that you need to have to buy a house. You don't need it at the go, right? If you're going out to buy a house, doesn't mean that you need to have that 22% in your account, both your down payment and the closing. Or say if you're doing a down payment of 5%, so that 7% doesn't need to be sitting in your bank, right? Before you go out looking for a home. So let's figure out when we need which amount we need to spend at what stage of this home buying process, right? So first thing first, how much does it cost to have the team get you in the shape to buy a house, right? Any idea? If you get a team, how much would it cost the team? No idea. Okay, it costs you nothing at all. If anybody is charging you, man, then he is just simply fleecing you, right? No cost at all. And these numbers, we will still go through these numbers, how much you need to pay to buy a house, at what stage you need to have the money ready to be paid, no matter when you're planning to buy a home, today, in 30 days, in 3 months, 6 months, or a year, right? That's why what I said at the start, this whole session is to educate you, to prepare you for this whole process, right? So step one, when we execute the document, the sale and purchase agreement, we are putting an offer on a property, you will be asked to pay a deposit, which could be 3 to 5% of the purchase price. If you're buying a home for, say, $500,000, So initially, at the time of signing the paperwork, the offer has been accepted. So you have to pay $15,000 to $25,000 within 24 hours of acceptance of the offer, right? This is your skin in the game. Then comes, this is something I always recommend to my clients to get a home inspection done. The reason is the home inspection is, see, if I'm going, say, for example, uh, I'm going with you to see the house, do the viewing. Whatever I can tell you, whatever I can see from my eyes, I'll let you know, okay, this floor work doesn't look neat enough, or there are cracks which need to be filled. Roughly, this is how much it will cost, or the bathroom fittings are not up to the mark. We may have to change them, do some work there, or there is a carpet in the room, you're allergic to dust, so we'll have to remove the carpet. Roughly, this is how much it will cost you. I can do that, right? But there are a lot of technical aspects which I am not the right person to guide you on, right? There could be a moisture behind the walls, which I cannot see with my naked eyes, and I have no idea about it, right? Or what kind of a wiring has been used there, because in old houses there was aluminum wiring which cracks at the joints. There's no copper wiring. In many of the houses, the electric panel has the fuse rather than the cutoffs, right? Wire breakers. So these all things I recommend to get a home inspector, which costs you $400 to $600. But this is again like an insurance. They may not come up with anything. They will say like, "Oh, all is good, you go ahead, buy it," but it will give you a peace of mind, right? Like this example I was telling you, the estate sale we bought last Thursday. In estate sale, you buy a home on as is where is basis, right? Because if there's any defect in the house found as a result of the inspection, I'll show you in the next slide, there are ways to address it. But especially estate sale and power of sale, you buy it on as is where is basis. Even if you find any defect in the house through this inspection, seller is not going to do anything about it, nothing whatsoever, right? But still, I recommended them, guys, please get a safety inspection, this home inspection done. We got a home inspection done on Monday. Like currently, today I have put an offer on another property, which is a power of sale, same here in Mississauga. Uh, that's quite a large house, 1.7 million worth. Uh, Even there, I've already told my client, I have put it in the papers in the conditions of sale and purchase agreement that we have to get the inspection done, irrespective we are buying the home on as is where is basis, but still we would prefer to get an inspection done. Second thing comes is a review of a status certificate. And status certificate comes into picture when you're buying a condo. If you buy a condo, then you get a status certificate. Always I put a buying of a condo, conditional buying, at least for the review of status certificate. There could be other conditions as well of inspection of finance, but status certificate review condition has to be there. The thing is, in the status certificate comes as a bunch of papers, documents, which gives you the audited income statement, balance sheet of the condo corporation, your any planned expenses which may be there, any special assessment fees, the budget of current year, budget of future year, any liabilities that the condo corporation may have, any suits that they are contesting, which may end up being the condo corporation to pay a damage, right? There could be a potential liability later on. So you have to review it, get it reviewed to be sure that you will not be hit by any surprise when you buy this home, when the title has transferred to your name of that condo. It could be a condo apartment, condo townhall, anything which has a condo corporation managing it. You need to get the status certificate reviewed. It costs you 150 to $250, but you end up using the same lawyer to do the closing, then they don't charge you anything. It comes free of cost, right? So this is what our the step three is, renegotiating the deal. Because say, as I was telling you, if you buy a home with the inspection condition, not the estate sale or power of sale, which come with the as is where is basis, not normal home, you buy a normal resale, you do with the inspection condition, and through inspection, you get to know there are some major defects in the house. So there are three options. You can either terminate the contract, you just get out of the deal. The defects which have been identified by the inspector, the home inspector, are too major, which like make you realize that doesn't make sense to buy this home. It's better you buy something else. You just terminate the contract, get out, get your money, deposit money back, and get out of the deal. Second is you pick 2 to 3 items, key defects, ask the seller to fix it. If seller agrees, perfect. If it doesn't, another thing is you can negotiate on the price. You can negotiate on the price at a later date, like few days after you have agreed on a price, you can further negotiate on it. I'll share an example. November, I bought one of my clients a detached in Brampton. Uh, we bought it for, we negotiated the price to 730, and then after the inspection, we got to realize that there could be further $10,000 of expense needed to fix the defects which the inspector had identified. So the seller was, because we already had negotiated a price quite a lot, so seller was not willing to spend another 10,000 on it to fix the defects. So what we agreed on, okay, it's $10,000. My buyer client also knew that it's a good deal that they are getting. They did not want to let it go because it was a detached home with the separate rentable basement. So they did not want to let it go. So we agreed with the seller to split the cost. So instead of the 730,000 that we have negotiated the price for the home originally, we reduced the price by $5,000, $725,000. So that way, 5,000 of the cost was borne by the seller, and buyer said, okay, I'll bear the remaining 5,000. So that's another thing. You can negotiate the price. Either of these three you can do when you get the inspection done, right? So once you have gone through the inspection, you go to the lawyer. Once the offer is confirmed, you go to the lawyer closes the deal. At that time, you need to make further payments. Your closing cost, deposit payments, if any further, like if you're paying more than 5% deposit, the balance over and above 5%, closing cost, everything you need to pay on the day of closing. You don't need to, that's why I was saying, like if the closing is 2 months away, you don't need to have all that money sitting in your account on the day when you are buying the house. As long as you know where you will be getting it from, when will that money be arriving in your account, and you will have it ready by the time of the closing, you're good, right? So now coming to the final mistake. 90% of the first time buyers don't hire a gladiator. What is a gladiator to begin with? So any realtor, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can show you, can pop a lockbox and do the showing for you, right? These dummy realtors that we have, and there are a lot of them there, right? Especially during this 2020 to 2022 period, a lot of realtors jumped into the market. A lot of people did the course, got the license, became a realtor, no experience whatsoever. And many of these realtors, many of these realtors, guys, I can tell you from my experience, did not own a home of their own, had no experience whatsoever. As I mentioned at the start, experience comes with experience. And I hold these guys responsible, partly responsible, for taking the prices of the houses where it went during that 22-month period between 2020 to 2024, right? So what a gladiator does is they don't only show you the house. Like, my job is not to show you the house. As I said, even if it's a new development or resale, the whole idea is to get you the best deal, to help you build the equity. I'll explain what the equity is in the next slide. My job is to pick up a sword and fight for you. Get you the best rate, all the best services. Like, taking the example of this recent latest buying that I have done. Now, today we'll be firming up the offer after this webinar. And I'm already, they asked me to look for a contractor when we go in next. They're planning to go in next week with some contractors to get an idea of the basic work they want to do, some lighting, they want to change the lights of the house, some stuff they want to do in the basement. So they want to understand if they can get all that done in a 2 week period, uh, after closing and before the move in, because the closing is on 17th of June. So they will be moving on 30th or 1st following it, right? So within that 2 week period, if they can get all that job done, and how much will that cost them? So now I'm also arranging a contractor for them to visit with them next week, to give them the rate, prices, estimate how much will that cost them, right? So this is what I do to use the shield to protect you from any harm, right? So what a gladiator does, I want your kids to go to a better school than we did. A very simple example, I'm working with one of my clients, in a seller client in Stony Creek at the mountain, because they earlier they when they bought the home, they got to know a particular school that they were interested in is going to open there, right? A Catholic school, but now it's not coming there any longer, and they have kids, they like wanted to send it that school. Now the school which is there in the mountain does not have that good rating. So now I'm working with them to sell their house and move them to a place where the school is that they are looking to send their kids to. So that's one area, because here, your kids go to a school of the neighborhood, right? And then, as I mentioned, again, next thing is I want to make things possible for you. It shouldn't be impossible. Get you the best prices. Uh, on this one, I'd like to share one live example with you. Last year, summer, I got one home. One of my clients bought a home for them in Niagara, a detached bungalow, corner lot, 4 bedrooms and 2 full washrooms upstairs, with a separate family room, living, dining, a huge living dining. It was fully upgraded home, top to bottom, and the basement had a separate entrance, 2 bedroom basement, very large bedrooms, very large bedrooms. I haven't seen that large bedrooms in a basement here in GTA, which I saw there at Niagara. And they were getting a rent of $1,600 from the basement. As I said, corner lot, beautiful home from inside. Outside also, it was a brick home bungalow, with $1,600 coming from the basement. Can you guys guess the price? It was cheaper than a 1 bedroom condo. That's how much cheap I got it for my clients. So much so, that my wife, Aditi, told me, Gagan, why didn't you buy it as an investment? Because the basement rent was covering all of the mortgage, was paying for the mortgage. So if you rent out the upper portion with 4 bedrooms, all of that rent would have been a profit. So Aditi and many of my clients told me, get us something like that. And the price was just $398,000. It was a freehold home. detach. So that's what I do. I want to make things possible for you, for things which may appear impossible to you, right? And I want you to make more and more equity, right? As I was explaining, many of you may know the equity is basically the price you buy a home at and the value it grows to, the difference between the current market value of the home and the price you bought it for. That is the equity, right? And the lower you price that you buy it at will help you get more equity built sooner, which you can use for your retirement or for your kids' education, or just to, if you want, like, withdraw money to buy another property, or you want to enjoy some foreign vacation, just take that equity out and use it. You want to do a business, start a business, just take that equity out and do that, use that money, right? So I want you guys to grow your equity faster and retire earlier, right? And selfishly, last but not the least, I want the raving fans, because all of my work that I do is based on the referrals of this equity part. I'll share an example with you. In 2023, I got one of my IT clients. This is a young guy, unmarried guy, now getting married next month, 18th of May. So this guy was working two jobs. So he wanted to buy a house to start with. So I got him a semi-detached in Waterloo. It had a separate entrance. It was a semi-detached bungalow. Little old, condition was okay. You can move in, that kind of a house. So I told him, buy this just on my recommendation. It had a separate entrance. Buy this one. Whenever you have 10, 20,000, there's a washroom already there downstairs in the basement. Make one room and one kitchen, rent it out, and then we'll talk about it. As in, when you have money, do this. So by June next year, 2024, he came back to me. He said, brother, I got it done. The basement is ready. I went, I saw it perfectly fine. I got his house refinanced. Bank gave him, based on the basement that he had added, bank gave him $165,000 of a line of credit. Using that $165,000, I got him a detached in Hamilton, 3+2 bedroom, 3 bedrooms upstairs, 2 bedrooms downstairs, huge lot, huge driveway, fully upgraded home, just using that $165,000. He didn't pay a single penny out of his pocket for that second home. And we rented it all out. He was $200 net positive after paying all of that 100% of mortgage for that house and other expenses like your taxes, property tax. So that's what equity means. So once he had that second house, he was working two jobs, both in IT. He quit one job. He said, now I'm more relaxed that, okay, I have saved something. I will be honored to do that, Josephine. Seriously. But these are the cases that I'm telling you are from my real life. These are my experiences, right? All over. Just in January, I got one of my clients in East in Port Hope, a detached home, double car garage, detached home, 72 feet front, huge lot with an in-ground pool at the back. The homes on that same street, similar homes without a pool, were selling at 900,000. And this one, I got my client, again a first-time buyer, was working in the in OPG. There's to him just for $660,900. So comparing to the other homes on the street, which were selling at that point of time in January for 900, he already had built an equity of $239,100. Just imagine that. And getting a detached with the in-ground pool, double car garage. It was a two-story with a separate family room and 3 bedrooms upstairs. So amazing house just for $661,000. That's what I mean by equity and fighting for you. So I've already covered it all. Like, I deal with negotiate with the builders, realtors, everything. That's what all I'm doing. I'll not bore you with this stuff because we're coming towards the end of that 1.5 hour time. So I'll ask you a few quick questions, guys. Let me ask you. I've gone breathless. I'll just have a sip of water. How are you feeling now, guys? Then from the start of the session, are you still feeling the same level of emotions, concern, scared, as someone said there? Uh, or are you feeling a little better? Thank you, Josephine. I appreciate that. Perfect. Anybody else? Less uncertain. That's great. That's great. That's what the whole purpose of this session was, guys. I told you this session is to educate you. I am feeling relieved. I like, even though I was breathless, but now I'm feeling relieved hearing you out, guys, that you're feeling better, less concerned. Great. Do you say this was a good use of an hour and a half on a Thursday night? Thank you, Vani. Thank you. Do you say, is it like yes, no, maybe? Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Thank you, darling. Thank you, Josephine. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. This motivates me to do it more because see, the idea is not to make clients. If you end up becoming my client, that's great. That's my honor. I'll be honored to serve you. But the idea, honestly, is to educate you guys. Right? As I said, I want my raving fans. There is Zillow works here. Zolo. It has a version of Zolo. We have it here. House Sigma. That's another. Sure. For that purpose, do you feel confident that you can avoid these 5 big mistakes? Better informed now? Yes, no, maybe? I want to hear you guys. Come on. Love you. Any no comments? Nothing? Not confident yet? Or shy to share your Excel? Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Don't be shy. Don't feel shy. What happens is if you guys have any query, please don't feel shy or hesitant. Go ahead, ask it because you never know that another person on the group also may have the similar query, right? So you know what to do next. Yes, no? What you can do is you can let me know what you want and let me and Aditi worry about how to make it happen. If you want, or if you have any further queries, you didn't get it, anything I did not explain, you need more clarification of any of the things, please feel free to use this link. Aditi will copy it again here in the chat box. Use this link, book a time with me as per your convenience. We can do a Zoom call. We can do you can visit me personally in my office, or we can meet somewhere personally, whichever way you are comfortable, and I will be more than happy to help you, guide you. You don't have to buy the home right away. As I said, you probably may not be in the situation due to lack of. My office is like it's. I have branches all over. This contact info is there. Use that calendar. You'll get the contact info. Josephine. Uh, yeah, you'll get it everything. Just use that link, right? And my office branches are all over, but I am usually found at this location in Mississauga at right at 401 and Dixie. Yes, I do have an office in Scarborough as well. If you want to meet face to face, you can meet me in my Scarborough office. It's right in Scarborough. I can share the details with you if you want to meet face to face, Vani. You don't have to. Vani said she would like to view the video over and over again. Similarly, there was someone else as well, Josephine. Guys, you don't have to watch the video over and over again. Drop me, just book my calendar, and I would rather meet you in person or through Zoom call, whichever way you prefer. And I'll be more than happy to answer all of your queries. But if you have any queries right now, we have just few minutes left. or rather we are about time to end the call. But if you have any queries, I'm more than happy to take it right now. Anybody has any query, I understand it was quite an extensive session. I have covered lot many topics here, and you may need some time to digest. Josephine, paying a house in cash uh, depends what is the source of cash. You can pay in cash, but we have to. This is something personal to you, so I would rather prefer to discuss it with you in person. What's the source? That's the basic thing we need to explain. May have to explain at the time of the buying. And by this query of yours, I'm assuming you intend to pay a whole value of the house uh, in cash. So yeah, it's a very specific question. I would suggest you to block some time with me, or you can personally drop a phone number. I'll explain it to you. Right? If I use my line of credit for down payment, would that go against my credit or affect the mortgage in any way? No, Vani, no. It will not go against your credit or affect your mortgage. It can affect your mortgage, but there is a way. There is a way to use your line of credit. As I mentioned specifically, you can use borrowed capital to buy a house. There is a way. And it's not hanky panky, no anything, nothing. There's a proper way to use your line of credit to buy a home. Again, that we can discuss in person. The details, how to use it. Anybody else? Thank you, Josephine. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for joining in today. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I enjoy doing these kind of sessions, and the more people join, the more better I feel. Like it's just basically. I feel, especially this comes from your responses as well, that I contributed positively or guided you well on your journey to buy a home. That gives me a kick. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for joining today. I'll not hold you back any longer. If you don't have any queries, I'll let you go. But you can use this link. This chat will be available to you. You will also get a link to the video. Use the video and see the video or book a session with me to connect. I'll be more than happy to help you. Have a very good night, guys, and all the best for your home buying journey. Take care. Signing off now.